Welcome to a complete camera comparison between the GoPro Hero 12 Black and the iPhone 15. The reason, of course, being that when Apple announced the iPhone 15, they said it has an entirely new camera system along with action mode.
iPhone 15 has an entirely new advanced camera system. This is action mode. It uses the full sensor,
allowing gimbal-like stabilization for all your action scenes.
Now, to put these two cameras to the test, side-by-side action and non-action. This is the stupidest idea I've had yet, but the most amazing. Daylight and nighttime alike. Now I'm gonna wait for an unsuspecting cyclist and chase them. With that, let's dive straight into it. Now, starting off with a very simple walking test, one of the things to note is that when you enable action mode on the iPhone 15, it does reduce it down to 2.8K. You can see that in the corner right there. Additionally, it also crops the image a little bit more as well. Now, when you enable action mode, it'll automatically switch to the wide camera. Watch, as I tap the action mode there, it goes to the 0.5X, the wide camera. However, I can go back and press the 1X button, and now watch the tree as I undo action mode. You'll see how it's actually cropping in, because as I undo it, it gets a lot wider. Now, as we get up to a light jog, don't worry, some sprints are coming in just a second, and oh my, are they sprints. Just a quick look at how things look right here. I'm gonna turn around the camera so you can see what's coming up ahead of us. There we go. You can see the stabilization on the iPhone compared to the GoPro, again, with the stabilization mode turned on. Now, in the Apple video, they demo a runner. So my wife's got an 18-mile run here in a moment. I figure we'll get some sprints in to warm her up.
Now, as I start chasing after my wife here, one of the things I want you to notice is I've got side-by-side two different iPhones. In this case, you've got action mode enabled on the right-hand side and non-action mode enabled on the left-hand side. And notice how the right-hand side is more cropped in because you enable that action mode. Now, comparing to the GoPro side-by-side here, you can see on the left-hand side, definitely a wider image in that wide view versus the cropped-in wide view of the iPhone. But still, stabilization-wise, it's generally pretty good on both of them. Not too many complaints here.
Okay, this time we're full speed ahead. I've turned things around so you can see what it looked like, but we're moving pretty quick right now, that's for sure. Now, it says not to jump off the dock, but it says nothing about jumping off the boat.
Now, a video comparison would be nothing without a slow motion cannonball test. Check this out. The form that I'm exhibiting here is just on point. Also, the GoPro and iPhone are fine too. If we go ahead and dive into each of them individually, you can see here the water droplets just popping up on the iPhone really sharp and clear, despite being lower resolution. In the case of the GoPro, you got a high resolution, 2.7K, but also looks really solid. I decided, of course, that I needed to do this again. I just want another shot at this, making sure my cannonball form was on point. And honestly, I probably should have just stuck with the first one. I had more kerplunk out of that first one than I did my second round. But, you know, give it a whirl.
Just a quick note from me, awkwardly in the woods. If you're finding this video entertaining, just give it a like or something. It really does help out the video and the channel quite a bit. Now, but at this point in the video, some of you are probably saying, but the iPhone isn't waterproof. Unfortunately, it is. And I'm gonna demonstrate that to you. And there's a reason why this beach is empty, because it's flipping cold. But nonetheless, I'm here for you. Ow, that hurts. In we go. Last year, I showed this on a nice warm Mediterranean island. Should have done that again this year. Okay, it's a little more shallow than I thought. It's gonna take a minute to find some depth. 3, 2, 5. I don't know what kind of water you thought was gonna come out of the other end of that, but it's not crystal clear tropical water. Now, last year when I did this in the Mediterranean, I left the cameras underwater for the half an hour or so the specifications state. I don't need to prove that today. I'm good, thank you very much. Now, just keep in mind, if you are in salt water or even fresh water, it's a good thing. Just give it a rinse when you get back home to simply make sure it's all nice and clean, no corrosion happens. My iPhone 13 I've had for 2 years now. It has taken more saltwater and freshwater swims than I can possibly count, and it's still perfectly fine. Now, don't forget, if you put your iPhone in the water, you'll need to let that port dry out for a little while. Usually a couple hours does the trick, but you can use wireless charging during that time period. So just keep that in mind in case times are getting desperate. Okay, so here's a little test of what the audio sounds like as we're cruising along at about 20 miles an hour right now. So talking to you, switching the audio sources on the screen right there. We'll turn things around. So now I'm talking from the back of the phones or cameras. Just so you can see how it sounds, how the audio quality sounds as I cruise along. Now, when it comes to mountain biking with an iPhone, things get a little bit sketchy. This is pretty much the best you're gonna do. It's basically a rigged up mount that's not at all designed for mountain biking. I've got the two angle tilt and lean forward on the handlebars that are nice and level across the front there. I've also got them as stable as I can on their own individual chest harnesses. It's still not perfect, but let's be honest, perfection is the enemy of stupidity. Okay, sending. Now, the goal today is to not slide and fall on the wet tree roots, because they are awfully fun when they're wet like this, but it's all good. Hopefully we'll make it down in one piece, or at least the cameras hopefully cut in the corner there, avoid those tree roots. Same here.
Now, looking at the stabilization here, I'm honestly a little bit surprised on both of these. In the case of the GoPro, a bit more vibration than I expected. In the case of the iPhone, I'm seeing a little bit of like fuzziness there when the image gets really, really jarring. Something I didn't see last year in the iPhone 14 Pro.
This is where it gets a little bit sketch, not gonna lie. You just gotta hope you shoot it right around the corner. One more corner. Woo, done. And there's a little more tame section here as I loop back around again, just to see on smoother ground how things look. So last year when I attempted this, there was some failure. But don't worry, I spent the past year doing nothing. But I grabbed a couple zip ties, a knife, and we're gonna make this work. This is arguably like the pinnacle of my zip tie engineering. I don't see how this is gonna go wrong. The first trick is getting it in the air. Once we got that sorted, we'll see if it'll actually fly. It's go time. Props on. Here we go. Well, it's a start. I think I just gotta pull a bit more back this time. Okay, we're gonna take off the GoPro. A bit too much weight, I think, right now. Yeah. Okay, we got it? We got it. Holy cow. It's moving. Finally. Let's go somewhere. Look at this thing, it's crazy. This is the stupidest idea I've had yet, but the most amazing. Hold on, I gotta get a picture of this. It's a bit sketchy. It's a bit wobbly, I'm not gonna lie. Look at this, it's flying. Okay, it's a lot wobbly, we should go somewhere. Whee! Woo! Haha! Look at it! Holy cow! Now keep in mind, it's pretty windy out right now, that's the wobble. Once I've got momentum, it's actually not too bad. It's working! Okay, we're a little bit low on battery and the winds are slow. It's like 100 meters away. I'm not sure if it's gonna get here before it kerplunks, but I'm over the field. It should be fine. It's 0% battery. I've never seen 0% battery on a DJI drone before. There you are, little guy. Hey, how you doing? Haha, done. So this is an example where you don't really need the stabilization of action mode. So I turned off action mode and just giving you simply 4K 30 on both the GoPro as well as the iPhone, just to see how stable things are when you're basically one giant gimbal, which is this particular bike. Now at this point, it's worthwhile pointing out just how darn wide the GoPro is from a field of view perspective compared to the iPhone. The iPhone right now is on its widest possible setting, versus the GoPro is only on its second widest possible setting, Super View. If I go and switch over to Hyperview, you'll see it's much, much different. Because now I've switched over to Hyperview, and you can see much more of the vehicle here, the seats and whatnot. Now, obviously, these aren't configured exactly the same position on the window, but I think the point is still valid. Also, I haven't turned stabilization on the iPhone because the car acts as one giant gimbal right now. There's really no need to have stabilization turned on inside of a car like this. Here's a comparison of the GoPro to the iPhone. In this case, in the wide configuration of the iPhone, but yet linear on the GoPro. This is kind of the closest to get these two together to see the same sort of thing. So you can see the waves down below here in just a second. The sunset there, just going down below the horizon. Pretty kind of swinging up here to look at the Ferris wheel there. you know, just see the colors and how that looks. Right now I have HDR on the GoPro enabled, as well as 5.3K, so a little high resolution. Welcome to a rainy night in Amsterdam and the windmill. Now what's impressive about this right now is just to see how good it looks on the iPhone despite all this rain. Obviously because of this rain it's a bit fuzzy, but that's fine. Let me just jog out of the light real quick so you can see the difference in the darkness a bit more. Now I'm out of the bright light there. In the case of the GoPro, I'm probably still dark, but in the case of the iPhone, it's probably still usable. I mean, I guess I'm just drenched, but at least the image is usable. Now, in case you're wondering what happens when you turn on action mode, ask and you shall receive. And there's actually an additional setting in action mode for low light that you can turn on in the camera settings. So I've toggled it on right now. I'm gonna wait for an unsuspecting cyclist and chase them. They look like they're sprinting a little bit. This could be spicy. I'm trying. He's going really fast. He was legit sprinting. I think he knew something was up. Now, when it comes to choosing a camera, there's a bunch of different things you could consider. In the case of the iPhone, it's probably gonna be in your pocket all the time. In the case of the GoPro, it's gonna have a wider field of view and generally probably better stabilization overall. And then beyond that, there are a ton of different factors which I didn't cover in this video, from how to get the footage off the camera to durability, etc. But ultimately for me, I'm gonna use both cameras depending on the use case. For day-to-day usage, and probably not in a day like this, I'm gonna pull out my iPhone for shooting outside. But in the case of shooting in these like this, I'm probably gonna use a GoPro for any sort of action type sports stuff. Either way though, let me know what you think of the footage in the comments down below. With that, hopefully you found this video interesting and useful. If so, give it a like down the bottom because it's a beautiful day today. Have a good one.